been a bit since I've checked out what's new from Shop Miss A and their brand AOA Studio, which has become one of my favorite budget makeup brands with so much good stuff under $2. So I recently put in an order, I got my haul, and today we're gonna try it on. I've got a lot of stuff that they've released over the past couple months, so let's just get straight into it. But first, if you're new here, hi, my name is Miranda. Welcome to my channel where we talk all things budget beauty. If that sounds interesting to you, then become the newest member of the Slashed Squad by hitting subscribe and the bell icon. Also, before we get started, I've been getting some comments recently saying that my videos look dark and yellow on some screens. Can y'all let me know in the comments how this video looks? I did tweak my lighting a bit to hopefully make it a little brighter, but I do edit my videos to look as close to real life colors as possible, especially when I'm showing like shades of makeup. So obviously that's really important to me. Let me know how this looks. Now let's get into it. The first new product that I picked up from Shop Miss A is their Top Secret Concealer. They just launched this, I think, last month, and they do have a few shades in this. It's supposed to be a medium to full coverage creamy concealer. I got the shade Buff as well as the green color corrector. So these are $1 each. They have 11 shades available. Now there are no claims about like non-creasing or long wearing, so that's what we're gonna find out. So what I usually do when I'm color correcting with green is that I do mix the concealer together before I put it on my face, and that sort of helps minimize that green really showing through. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick up some of the Buff color, put it on the back of my hand a little bit, and then I'll go into the green and do the same thing and just start kind of mixing that around. I don't know how well this is gonna work if the Buff is too light for my skin tone. Now I can definitely feel the creaminess of this concealer. I'm a little worried that it's gonna feel heavy. Ton of coverage, that's for sure. I mean, it's definitely spreading well. I'm not gonna get like a perfect blend because this concealer was too light, but we'll get a good feel for the formula today. Just based on the consistency though, I feel like this little $1 pot is gonna last you a long time. You really don't need a lot, and I have so much left over on my hand. Let me just go ahead and sort of tap that out. If this was like 2 shades darker, we would have gotten a really good match. It's blending out really nicely though. It's really smooth. It seems to be sort of melting into the skin nicely. I don't like the fragrance. It's almost like fruity. Let's hope this isn't too light where like you're gonna be able to tell under my foundation. Now, as I complain about fragrance and face products, today I am using the Physicians Formula Butter Foundation just because this is such a good shade match for me. I'm just gonna use it up. I really wish that they would make butter products without the butter fragrance. Oh, that would be like checking everything off my list. So hopefully this will have enough coverage to kind of even out the color here. Ooh, okay. My foundation's blending over it beautifully. Like you can't tell that there are layers of other product underneath. So like I said, there were no borders or like lines of demarcation left behind. I was really thinking that it was gonna be thick looking underneath a layer of foundation. Like you'd be able to kind of see it building up, but I'm not saying that at all. So now that just means I need to go buy my actual shade. Why don't we go ahead and try using the Buff as an under eye shade? I'm really only gonna tap in like a little bit because you really just do not need a lot. Yeah. This blends beautifully. And I'm using the Real Techniques 300 concealer brush, deluxe, oh, wrong. This is a deluxe crease brush. What? This is way too big to be a crease brush. Whatever. It works really well for concealer. It's just got the right amount of density for this type of cream product. And I'll set my under eyes using the AOA Studio Perfect Setting Powder. This is my absolute favorite setting powder ever. All right, I have done my brows, I've primed my eyes. Let's move on to some new shadow from AOA Studio. They've come out with this Fairy Garden eyeshadow quad collection. I have 3 of them here. Willow, which is this beautiful like green, seafoam green type of color story. Then I have Orchid, which like the name suggests is purple themed. And finally, this one's a lot more neutral. This one's called Lily. I think I want to use Orchid and And maybe since Valentine's Day is coming up, I'll do sort of like a purpley pink look today. Now, something that I wasn't a huge fan of in terms of how they did these palettes was that the finish balance wasn't consistent between the palettes. So for example, in Lily, we have 2 mattes, a shimmer, and then like a metallic. And then in Orchid, we have 2 shimmers and 2 metallics. So I wish that they kept it a little bit more consistent throughout all of the palettes, especially because I feel like Orchid would have really, really benefited from this bronzy brown being matte. So I'm just gonna go straight for this beautiful metallic purple shade. Ooh, whoa, the texture is like bouncy. This actually might be better applied with my finger, but let's just try it out first. Ooh, wow. That's really pretty. Yeah, you know what? Hold on. Let me just try this with my finger because it's almost so soft that it's just coming off the brush before it even blends into my skin. Oh my God. This is like a foil eyeshadow almost. Oh, wow. I can actually see it applied a little patchy or weird over where I originally put the brush, and then everywhere else is smooth. So just starting in with your finger first gets you this really beautiful like opaque foil look. And then I'll probably go in with a brush just to get into these corners because with my nails I can't. I'm obsessed. Wow, AOA, you really threw me for a loop here with this one. Just gonna try to drag it a little bit into the corner. Oh, I'm so excited for how this look is gonna turn out. Now this definitely has a little bit of that like classic metallic texture. So I can see it a little bit accentuating the lines on my lid. This is not necessarily going to be an aging lid friendly eyeshadow. But again, I think if you stick with finger application and really just work at it to smooth it out, you'll get a really pretty finish. So I'm kind of just blending upward, dragging it out a little bit in the outer corner. I like almost don't even want to apply anything else. I want to use this light sort of champagne pink as my highlight on the brow bone and inner corner. I wish that had a little bit more impact because of how intense the pink is. I feel like this needed to be a little bit more punchy. Now there is this darker purple shade that is like shimmer shade. Let's see. You know, I gotta say, I don't feel like I would have reached for a palette like this just at first glance, especially because of the finishes and the fact that there's not like a matte inside. I would have been like, I don't really see that working for me. But again, I'm just trying to step out of my shell a little bit this year in terms of like what I consider to be the right way to do eyeshadow and whatnot. And whenever I do that, I end up with looks that I really, really like. Okay, so for $1, I would say this is definitely worth picking up, if not to just add a little bit something different to your collection if there are shades that you don't necessarily have in like your everyday eyeshadow palettes. And this was so easy to use. This was a 3-shade eyeshadow look. So a few videos ago, I was sharing some 2022 makeup trends that are getting really big for this year. And one that I'm already seeing more and more recently is graphic liner and colorful liner. So I'm really excited that AOA just launched their Eyes on Me liquid liner in so many fun shades. So we do have the classic black, which I picked up just to like test it as an everyday liner, but we also have blue and yellow and white and sort of like this red burgundy and pink and teal. Like the possibilities are endless. So I bought, I think this is the whole range, just to inspire me to try that trend a little bit more, and that is also what I'm going to be attempting today. Now, because I'm kind of going with this pink theme and Valentine's Day theme, I think I want to use white, which is called Oh La La, pink, which is called Lovebirds, and then the red, which is Why Not. So I'm gonna take the deep red Why Not first and use this as like a typical winged liner. So we do have a brush tip, which I'm very excited about. Ooh, okay, so you might not be able to see this really well over the eyeshadow because I thought it was gonna be a bit darker. It's more of like a rosy dark pink than a red. But so far, I really like this brush. Yeah, this brush makes really sharp strokes. This is just so easy to paint on. And did I not get like the exact same angle on both sides? I'm also gonna bring that liner into my inner corner. It's a little hard with my eye shape because I have a fold that goes like right up in there. Now this liner is drying down to be matte. I'm not sure if all of the shades are like that. I am gonna go in with the lighter pink now and trace along the bottom of the wing on the outer side, like that, just one extra line. So finally with this white, which is probably what I'm most nervous to try because white liner notoriously tints, like especially if you're putting it over a color, it usually ends up mixing with that color and you get like a dingy dishwater gray. I did it! Oh. That was really nerve-wracking. So the white is definitely very pigmented. I'm not seeing any tinting going on yet. I do kind of want to go over it a little bit just to even out the thickness, which I'm a little worried about because I don't want to mess it up. Oh my gosh. This liner, I think, is probably the best like graphic liner product to use on a budget. $1 and this pigmentation is so good. The brush is so good. Okay, the real question is, can I do this again on the other side? This is so nerve-wracking. I don't know how people do this. I think the trick is to go slowly and then you'll get the placement that you want. I am so happy that they finally bundled their 3D foam ink lashes, which are my favorite on the site. They are so fluffy and high quality. Individually, they cost $155, and in the pack of 5, you can now get them for $755. Now, I should have gotten a new glue because I'm also obsessed with their A+ Super Lash Glue, a really good dupe of the Ardell Duo Brush On Glue. Ooh, yeah, I definitely need a new tube of this. It's a little stretchy. When I tell you I just barely had enough for that. Okay, well, I genuinely cannot believe that I did this eye look with $1 makeup. Again, stepping outside my comfort zone, and I am obsessed with the results. So if you take anything away from this video, even if you don't end up like recreating this look or buying any of these products, I hope that you take the time to just play around with something new because you never know what you're gonna end up with. Even like without the little hearts, this would be such a pretty Valentine's Day look. So this is like the hottest product that's just come out from AOA Studio, so much so that I was only able to get one shade, and I don't even really know if it's gonna work for me, but it was the only one in stock. This is their new Color Flush Liquid Blush, and I got the shade Cherrywood, which did look a bit dark for my skin tone. So what I think I'm gonna do is just dot it on the back of my hand to kind of see what we're working with in terms of pigmentation so I don't accidentally over apply. Oh, wow. Oh, it's really thin and liquidy. Okay. First of all, this is a beautiful shade. Sort of like a red coral. Okay, I'm just kind of blending it out with a wet sponge. Oh, wow. Okay, it blends out really nicely. So let's start on this side. I'm just gonna go ahead with like 2 dots like that. Oh, okay. Okay, so I can go a little heavier then. Because I do like to drape my blush. There we go. Oh, wow. Okay, this is not as scary as I thought it was gonna turn out, so I'm really glad. This is gonna be a really pretty shade for spring. And what's interesting is that on the website, this does look like really, really intense, like red, because they just swatched it like full on without really blending it out. So I don't think they did themselves a service there, because this is not the shade that I would have picked out for myself, but I definitely see myself using it in my collection now that I kind of know the deal. Now, this is not a new product from them. This has been around for a while. This is their Glow Baby Liquid Highlighter. It's such a little baby tube. So I'm just gonna tap that on. Oh, so beautiful. I always forget about this. I don't know why, because it's so my jam when it comes to highlight. It just gives this really beautiful, stunning beam without like a lot of glitter or shimmer. In fact, there's really no visible shimmer to this. It's just glow, although it does get very messy. That's the one thing that I feel like AOA has to improve on, or maybe that's just the trade-off for them being so cheap, is that even if the product is good, I do have issues with a lot of their packaging and just like how secure the product is within the packaging. So like this just kind of like leaked all over my hand. But if they're sparing the dollars on the packaging to make some really great product for $1, then like I'll deal with it. And finally, let's finish off the look with some lipstick. This is their new Dream lipstick. It is supposed to be a comfort matte formula. There are 7 shades total and they lean a little bit like pink nude. The one thing is that I feel like the actual lipstick does not match the outer packaging, which is not helpful, at least for the couple that I've opened. Like this looks like it's gonna be a mauve, but the bullet looks red. Yeah, what? That does not make any sense. Ooh. Maybe that actually kind of matches the most. This one's called Make Out. Okay, again, this is like a dark purple and the packaging is clearly a mauve pink. Now, I do have dry lips right now, so we'll see how this comfort matte formula handles that. Okay, this again kind of has that artificial fragrance that they do put in a lot of their products. Not a huge fan of it. It just like very much smells like kid makeup to me, like bubble gum. It's not a bubble gum smell, but it smells like flavored gum. This is applying really nicely though. I mean, it's gliding on, lots of pigment. It's actually not catching on my texture at all, because I definitely have a dry texture going on my bottom lip. I don't know if I would consider these matte at all though. Curious about the wear time because of how they feel, but I mean, this really has the texture of a tinted lip balm. Feels very hydrating on the lips, like I can feel the nourishment of my lips right now because they were feeling so dry. Very thin and lightweight, but so much color. Now, as I sit here and I kind of do a once over of how everything is coming together, especially those products that I applied earlier in the video, I am noticing a little bit of cakiness where I applied the concealer, mostly in my expression lines. So I did have some concealer here, which then I layered with the foundation and the powder. And this expression line is coming out so much right now. But yeah, I can just see a little bit of texture everywhere I put concealer. So I will update you in a few hours to check in on how everything is performing, but this look went way beyond my expectations. I'm always expecting a few duds in any makeup haul, but all of these as a first impression have just really blown me away. All right, y'all, it's been about like 4 hours since I put this makeup on. I know not a super long time, but there's already enough going on where I want to update you and kind of share how this makeup has been doing. Let me zoom you in. All right, first of all, you may be able to notice that my eyeliner is no longer symmetrical. My left eye started tearing really heavily this afternoon, and the eyeliner is not waterproof or tear-proof. So there's like no liner left right here. As soon as I wiped my eye, the liner just came clean off, but everywhere else is still looking really nice and smooth. There's been no flaking or smudging. The inner portion on this eye still looks great. I am kind of curious though, like if I were to rub right here, if it would stay in place. I mean, it's the end of my day. I'm about to go work out anyway, so let's just do it. Huh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's not awful, but it definitely will flake off with enough friction. Okay, let's talk about the eyeshadow. I'm seeing just the slightest bit of creasing, which usually doesn't happen when I have my Milani eye primer on, but I think just the texture of this shadow kind of lended itself to migrate just a bit. It's not super noticeable, but that's just me being really picky. Now, the highlights of this haul for me have been the blush and the lipstick, especially the lipstick. I had soup for lunch, so I was constantly like, you know, pulling a spoon out of my mouth and that rubs against my lips, and there's still so much color. Like I would not feel the need to touch up with my lips looking like this. So pleasantly surprised. This is actually more color than what's left after eating when I'm wearing my Milani Color Fetish lipsticks that I just reviewed. This lasted better than those. And I think it is kind of a stain. Like it's not 100% transfer proof, but there's so much color left on my lips. And then as far as the blush, I mean, I just think that it looks still beautifully blended and soft and noticeable. So it hasn't faded all that much throughout the day. Also my highlight, still popping. And I'm a little on the fence about the concealer because I think my skin is just a little dry for it right now. It definitely dried down to a matte finish, and with my skin just feeling a little dry in general, it's looking a little crackly. And again, this is me being super picky and looking up in a mirror like really close, but like especially around my chin area, it just kind of looks like there's more texture than I know is there. But overall, I think that this still looks spectacular considering this is all $1, $2 makeup. Well, that is what is new from Shop Miss A. Let me know what caught your eye and what's going on your shopping list in the comments. Today's shout out goes to Ana Eloisa. Thanks for being a member of the Slashed Squad. And join me over in this video next where I share the 6 new shades in the Milani Color Fetish Matte Lipsticks, the Flora collection. I'll see you over there. Bye!